Maayong adlaw sa tanan, my dear students, no? Welcome sa ato ang course in GC 602 class. It's on Organization and Administration of Guidance Services Program Development. I hope ready na mo to dive into the exciting world of guidance services. Kaning ang course is very important para sa atong future role as guidance professionals. So in this course, it is designed para hatagan mo og basic knowledge on how guidance services function, how guidance services organize, and how it is being administered effectively. Importante kaayo ni, especially if you are preparing to manage or contribute to guidance programs, no, sa school or sa community setting man. Dili lang nato tan-awon ang practical, pero apil pod ang theoretical foundation, no, ang legal basis, ethical, organizational structure that guide our practice. To give you a broader perspective, this course will focus on several important areas. Una, legal basis of the practice of guidance and counseling. Mao ni ang mga balaod, policies or regulation nga nag-guide sa atong practice. For example, sa Pilipinas, naatay RA 9258 nga nag-regulate sa guidance and counseling profession. Knowing this ensures nga legal ta sa ato ang trabaho. Unya, protected pod ang rights sa ato ang clients. Next, we have nature and essence of guidance and counseling practice. Here, atong i-explore ang true purpose sa guidance. Guidance is not just giving advice or solving problems. It's about helping individuals understand themselves, their environment, and making informed choices. This part will challenge you to reflect unsa gyud ang essence sa inyong role as counselors, no? Then we will dive into guidance, organizational structure, and personnel. This is about knowing how guidance offices are structured, unsaon pag-assign sa responsibilities, ug usaon pag-coordinate sa staff for effective service delivery. Makakat-on mo unsa ang role sa different personnel, from guidance directors, counselors, support staff, to student volunteers. Another key concept is guidance services and program development. Here atong study unsaon pag-design og program that respond to students or clients' needs. Kani involves planning, implementation, evaluation ug continuous improvement. Ang goal ani is to ensure that guidance services are meaningful and effective. Para ma-master nato ni nga concept, you will exploit significant reading resources gikan sa books, no? Even journal articles, no? O reputable materials. Mapa hard copy man ni or mapa online resources. Dili lang nato basahon, kinahanglan mo critically read and analyze. Meaning dapat mo question, mo reflect, and mo relate sa inyong own experiences. Maong active participation is required, no? Ayaw kahadlok mo share sa inyong insights. Puhon if we have an avenue for sharing. Now, to summarize, GC 602, as purported in this course description, is more than just a theory. Kini nag-prepare ninyo to become effective, knowledgeable, ug reflective guidance personnel. Through legal understanding, comprehension of essence, organizational knowledge, service planning, ug critical reading, we aim to build your competence in managing and developing guidance programs. Okay, in the previous slides, we have already introduced the course and its purpose, no? So as we continue, atong hisgutan ang lessons of the course. Aron mas klaro ang atong journey sa pagmaster sa guidance services and program development. By the end of this session, masabtan ninyo ang structure of the course, ang mga lesson topics, ug ang reporting requirements, no, nga mag-prepare sa inyo ha para sa inyong professional output. So ang lesson sa atong course gi-design aron mag-guide ninyo from the foundational concepts to applied practice. Atong lessons are divided into lesson topics nga ako ang i-discuss o reporting topics. No? Ang lesson topics focuses more on the theoretical understanding, while reporting topics are about the practical application and outputs, no, nga inyuhaon niya ning pagabuhaton. Now, let's dive into these topics. Una, we have highlights of the CMO 15 series of 2019. Later in this discussion, I will be focusing more on it, no? Pero sa gamay lang nga konteksto, kini nga memorandum order sa CHED, no, sets the standards for guidance and counseling program, particularly for the higher education institutions. No? Importante ni kay it serves as the framework sa ato ang practice. From personal requirements, services to program evaluation, no? Sa pag-study nato ani, kinahanglan nato ma-appreciate ang compliance requirements of best practices recommended by CHED. Second, we have guidance and counseling as a human service profession. No? In this topic, atong i-explore nga ang guidance profession is not just a job, no, but it is a service oriented towards helping individuals improve their well-being, personal development, and decision-making abilities. This topic will challenge you to reflect on your personal motivations. No? Why do you want to serve as a counselor? Sa una to pag-balance sa professional responsibilities ug compassion for our clients. Third lesson topic that I will be presenting in this recording is the legal basis of the guidance and counseling practices in the Philippines. No, this focuses on the laws, regulations, and policies, as I have mentioned in the course description, na nag-guide sa atong practice. No? For example, ang RA 9258 o uban pa. Understanding this ensures nga ang atoang service are ethical, legal, and aligned with national standards. Now, moving on, ang reporting topics will guide your outputs throughout the course. No? So there will be students who will be reporting in terms sa guidance personnel, terms sa different guidance services. In the case of the services found in the Book of Villar, there are 11 services. So naapoy matag-usan ninyo nga mo present ni adto. So particularly in guidance services, no, makita na to how to ensure that these services are relevant, accessible, and responsive to client needs. Also, we have topic on guidance program development, no, where it involves planning, implementing, monitoring, and improving guidance programs. So here we can find examples, no, step-by-step strategies in program design, including assessment of needs, goal setting, and evaluation techniques. Yeah. Before tamo human ani nga kurso, we will also encounter other salient topics such as facilities and budget. You will identify the resources needed for effective guidance services. This includes physical facilities, materials, and financial planning. Now, I remember during one of the board examinations, usa ni siya ka-importante kayo nga topic nga nanggawa sa board exam. So meaning to say, we need also to know this topic, particularly concepts coming from the book of Dr. Villar. So as master's students, no, of guidance and counseling, you are expected not only to understand these topics theoretically. Hopefully, we can see, no, how these things are being applied, no, in real situations. Now, let us start our discussion with this policy. This is the CMO number 15 series of 2019. Nag-i-issue sa Commission on Higher Education. No? Ang official nga title ni ining policy is PSG for Graduate Programs. Ang purpose ani nga memorandum is to establish a national standard for graduate education, no, to ensure nga angkor sa national development o global competitive ang atong graduate program sa Philippines. Para sa mandato sa CHED is to align graduate programs with an outcomes-based quality assurance system ug ang Philippine Qualification Framework. Now, dili lang ni simpleng guidelines nga sunod-sunuran lang nato. Ang CMO 15 is grounded in a philosophical foundation that expects graduate students to develop higher order thinking skills, no? Example, critical thinking, analysis, synthesis, and reflective practice. Labi na sa research o publication competencies. Kung atong i-interpret more deeply, ang philosophical underpinning of this memorandum is that graduate education should produce learners nga dili lang mudawat sa information giingon sa uban, kundi kabalo mo evaluate, kabalo mo analyze, ug mo produce og knowledge themselves, no? Importante nga kabalo mo read critically sa scholarly texts, research articles, and policy documents sama ni ining CMO 15 series of 2019. Ug dili lang mo rely sa hearing or oral lectures. Graduate studies kinahanglan mo develop sa inyong scholarly mindset, meaning you read, you critique, you question, ug ikaw mismo ang mo produce og new knowledge through research. This is especially relevant for us in guidance and counseling. Kay graduate students must not just accept theories, but critically engage with literature and contribute to the discipline through research outputs. Now, let's talk about one of the most talked about provisions, no, of the CMO, the requirement for thesis and publication for the master's program. No? For Master of Arts degrees under academic track, no, CMO 15 requires that a student must, no, take note kung unsay gisuwat diri, pass a comprehensive examination in an academic evaluation after courseworks. Maunang mo take mo og exam before mo i-admit for thesis writing. And then after that, complete a thesis as a major requirement, no, nga mo reflect sa advanced level of your ability. These two are traditionally, no, the core outputs nga nagpamatuod nga graduate students have attain depth and rigor of study in their field. However, the most significant shift introduced by the CMO is the publication requirement. No, makita na to diha sa screen. At least one publication in referred journal or juried creative work. Okay? Prior to graduation. Now, what does it mean? Una ato ang hisgutan unsa maning meaning aning referred journal, no? It means ang inyong manuscript, ang inyong thesis i-convert na ninyo into a research article, inyo nang i-submit in a so-called referred journal, unya i-review na siya sa experts before sila mo accept for publication. Now, this elevates the quality of your research output. Publication can be based sa inyong thesis research that undergoes peer review. Now, ang publication mandate is not just a graduation box to tick. This is a policy designed to cultivate a research culture among graduate students and to contribute to knowledge creation in your discipline. This requirement reflects the expectation that master's graduates should not only consume research but also contribute to the scholarly community through publication, no? Makapadugang kini sa credibility sa graduate programs ug makatabang sa enhancement sa academic landscape sa Philippines. Because publication is now an institutional requirement tied to graduation, in Section 9, it must also be reflected in the students' transcripts of record or TOR. Once you have met the publication requirement, usually through evidence of acceptance or publication in a referred journal, this becomes part of your official academic record. No? For example, kung ang thesis ninyo gi-accept sa journal or kung nakapublish mo og conference paper in a referred outlet related to your field, makonsider na siya under CMO 15 publication requirement ug ma-reflected no sa ato ang TOR before graduation. Now, before we move on, think about this key implication. CMO 15 pushes you to read scholarly research critically. No, you can't just follow what others say or rely entirely on lectures. Instead, you must read, analyze, critique, and create scholarly work. And so you must plan your research journey with publication in mind, not just finishing the thesis, but making sure it meets standards acceptable for publication. Now, let us move to topic 2, guidance program, the what and why. Guidance and counseling is a human service profession that transforms lives, helping individuals navigate challenges, discover their strengths, and make informed decisions for a better future. This profession is crucial now because we don't just give advice, we empower. We empower people, build resilience in them, and create meaningful change in their personal, academic, and social lives. So, what is guidance and counseling? Why human service profession exists? Now, for this slide, let's reflect on a powerful saying. No man is an island. Unsang inyong pagsabot ani? Take a moment to reflect. Basically, this means that we cannot live in isolation. We are social beings who thrive and survive because of our connection with others. Walay usa nga tao nga makaya ang tanan alone. Everyone needs support, guidance, and care at some point in our life. Okay? This is exactly why the guidance and counseling profession exists. Unlike other professions that may focus on profit, efficiency, or individual achievement, this profession is centered on selflessness. No? Moingon jud ko nga selflessness and serving humanity is the focus of this profession. Now, as future guidance professionals, no, your core purpose is to help people navigate their struggles, to help them realize their potentials. What a powerful word, no? Potential, and achieve well-being as the end goal, to achieve well-being. No? And I want you to remember this. All of us need help. While all of us can help, mao kini ang essence sa human service profession. Reciprocal care, no? You give and you also receive wisdom and growth through serving others. Now, allow me to point out some takeaway concepts here. Now, selflessness in service. Ako lang nang balikon. Guidance and counseling is about putting others' needs first without expecting reward. Kaduha, empathy and support. You understand the struggles of others and respond with compassion. So kung balikon, the principle of help, all of us need help. Acknowledging our vulnerabilities makes us human, and all of us can help. Recognizing our capacity to serve makes us agents of change. So I ask you, how do you personally understand no man is an island? In the context of being a guidance counselor students, this is the heart of human service. Realizing that by helping others, we also grow and strengthen our own character. Now, to continue, in this slide, let's try to retrace the history of guidance and counseling practice. No? Atong i-travel back ang panahon aron ato ang matrace, no, kung asa man ni nagagikan kining maong profession. Let's think of guidance not just as a profession, no, but as a human response to the needs of others. Helping people has been around for centuries. Pero notice ninyo, ang structure, method, and understanding of this help have evolved a lot. No? Let us start from the very beginning. Sa una, daghan sa mga early attempts to help people, no? And we call them pseudo-scientific. Ang meaning ani, these techniques were used to influence behavior or understand human problems, but wala pa'y scientific foundation. Example includes astrology, phrenology, no, study of skull shape, na po gitawag nga graphology, no. Bisan pa man, these early methods show that humans have always sought ways to help each other understand themselves, even if the tool were not yet fully developed scientifically. Now, in later years and decades, no, counseling as a concept started to emerge more clearly in Europe and in American land, no? Particularly in the late 19th to early 20th century. Initially, it was informal. Clergy, teachers, and community elders often guided individuals, but without formal training or standardized methods. No? The shift towards structured counseling came when society realized that personal, educational, and vocational guidance needed systematic approaches. No? Now, atong tanawon, in the 17th to 19th century, psychology was referred to as the study of the soul. Mao ni siya ang etymology sa pulong psychology. Psyche, soul, logos, study. Philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, and later René Descartes tried to understand human thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Although it sounds abstract, this period laid the foundation for understanding human nature, something essential for guidance and counseling. Later, psychology began experimenting and observing human behavior scientifically, especially on abnormal psychology. No? Diri na nigawas ang concept on mental illnesses, emotional disorder, or behavioral issues. This was important because helping others required knowledge of how mind works and how problems can arise in emotional or cognitive processes. Ug sa ingon pod niini nga paagi na divert ang attention, no? Therefore, na-focus tanan towards abnormal psychology, abnormal behavior. Mauni ang point where guidance era comes in, no? Roughly in the early 20th century, when school began hiring guidance counselors to assist students. Nga naman, kay nakafocus naman ang psychology towards abnormal behaviors. So ang naa sa eskwelahan, which is functioning individuals, no? Nabiyaan, maunang lisod ang guidance era, or guidance counselors, no? Later on, makita na to that we limit our practice to normal functioning individuals who are experiencing mental health difficulties, no? No? Especially, no, to assess students, particularly with their career, academic, and personal concerns. Again, they are functioning, normal functioning individuals, pero naka-experience lang og crisis, mental health difficulty situations. Mao nang kita as guidance counselors, kung aduna natay makita nga mo go beyond normal functioning, nga maka-interrupt na siya sa iyahang sakto nga paglihok-lihok, it now indicates a serious problem that needs diagnosis. So, dapat kita, we have the ability to decipher, makakita ta, ug makahibalo, kanus ata mo refer. Again, referral is one of our guidance services. Ug gibuhat ni because of understanding that there are tasks, there are things that are beyond our control, no, beyond the scope of our work. Mauni ang differences between the work of a registered psychologist, which is clinical in nature, against the work of a guidance counselor that is more on normal functioning individuals. Okay? So, balik ko nako, guidance era. No? This was the time when guidance became recognized as a profession. The goal was clear. Help individuals make informed decisions about their lives, especially their education and vocation. Now, during this time, society also realized the importance of human work. No? Vocational guidance emerged and creates programs, especially in school, to prepare students for meaningful career. No, this counseling profession became intertwined with career development, recognizing that helping people choose the right career path is helping them build a productive and a fulfilled life. So at the end of the day, the outcomes, the product of our duties as guidance counselors is therefore to be able to help our clients, particularly our students, to become productive members of the society, to maintain their sanity, to maintain their mental well-being. Kay if ever mawala na, then they will turn out the other way around of what they are being expected. And that is to become productive members of the society and have a fulfilled life. Now, to continue, the Industrial Revolution also is an important history, no, in the history of guidance and counseling practice. No? The Industrial Revolution brought massive social and economic changes. People moved to cities. Factory work increased and life became more complex. So counselors were now needed not only for education and vocation, but also to help people adjust to societal changes, stress, and new work environment. Again, ang naigo manggod when the concept of work is being distorted, no? Mawala ang human work, ang work to human existence, maguba man ang tao because through work, man becomes fully human because through work, you render service. We serve the community through our professions, through our varied professions. So without this so-called career, without this so-called work, we lost our identity as human beings. No? Munang akong ingnon, akong estudyante sa undergrad, no? Ayaw tuguti ang imuhang kaugalingon nga mahimo kang tambay because that's the loneliest way to describe your existence as a human being at the end of the day. No nga, sa imong pag-eskwela, nagpractice sa daay kapag katambay, no? Kaluoy. Now, there are also key developments, no, that include in the history of guidance and counseling practice. One of this is the development of psychological testing, no? Intelligence test, personality assessment, career aptitude, kini nga tools help counselors nga makahimong data-driven ang atong decisions, no? Ang ato ang abilidad to guide our clients. Also, the birth of approaches to counseling and psychotherapy, no? Psychoanalytic by Freud, behaviorist from Skinner, B.F. Skinner, the humanistic from Rogers, no? And cognitive approaches as well, no? Sa atong contemporary practices like REBT, no? CBT, and so on and so forth. Each approach expanded our ways of helping clients, no? Particularly our students. These historical steps demonstrate how helping became more structured and scientific and professionalized over time. Okay? And before we will end our tracing of the history, dili na to kalimtan, no, the practice of guidance and counseling in the Philippine setting as well, no? In the Philippines, guidance and counseling practice began in schools around 1930s to 1940s. So kaning time ni coincide ni siya sa guidance era, sa time nga naa value ang human work, no? Again, heavily influenced by American educational models. Kakaning panahon na pod, no? As to our history, we are colonialized, no? By the American. Now, key developments include, no, in terms of the practice of guidance and counseling in the Philippines, is the establishment of guidance offices in schools, no, development of counseling programs for students and communities, as well as the integration of Filipino cultural values into counseling approaches. And one of the things we are proud to share to us is we have a cultural and inculturated practice, no, in counseling, that of Dr. Vicente Igot, ang iyahang buot therapy, no. Karon ang guidance profession sa Philippines combines international best practices alongside local context, no, in order to address educational, personal, career, and community related needs. So as we have seen, no, the practice of helping others evolved from informal and scientific methods to a structured research-based profession. Helping people is not just giving advices, no? It requires knowledge, skills, and a deep sense of selflessness and service. So as future guidance counselors, we need to understand that our profession is not about understanding human struggle. It is about facilitating growth and making a positive impact, no, in the society. To continue, atong i-discuss in this particular slide ang RA 9258, no, which is the legal backbone of our practice. No, this is also known as the Guidance and Counseling Act of 2004. No, this is a milestone in Philippine education and professional practice because it officially recognized guidance and counseling as a regulated profession. Before this law, guidance and counseling existed, yes, no, pero wala pa tay legal framework na mag-protect sa practitioner or mag-standardize sa practice. Imagine, walay clear nga rule sa qualification, responsibilities, or ethical standards. Mauni ang rason ngano nga ang usa ka balaod is very necessary. Now, let me just focus on some important concepts purported in RA 9258 in terms of defining our profession as guidance and counseling, no? Una, recognize guidance and counseling as a profession, no? Not just a job or volunteer work, but a legally recognized human service profession. Ikaduha, protect the public. Ensures that only qualified, licensed professionals, no, provide guidance services. You need to earn the license by taking up a board exam, no? And it would fall every August, no? Ikatulo, it sets the standards, no? The law define qualifications, rule, and ethical standards for guidance counselors nationwide. In short, the law ensures nga both the practitioner and the clients are protected and that guidance services maintain high professional integrity. Now, to continue, according to RA 9258, guidance and counseling is a profession that involves using an integrated approach to help a person, no? To help a person develop into a well-functioning individuals. Let's unpack this. When we say integrated approach, it means that guidance counselors combine different strategies, theories, and techniques to respond to the client's need. Okay? So, nigamit ta og different strategies. Kaduha, develop into a well-functioning individual. Mo ni ang tumong, no? The goal is holistic development of our clients. Emotional, cognitive, social, and vocational growth. And ikatulo is the concept of actualize one's potential to the fullest. Meaning, we have to guide our clients, our students, to discover their strengths and capabilities, no? Enabling them to reach their highest potentials. Mabitaw na importante kayo unta nga diha sa pagsugod sa edukasyon sa usa ka bata aduna nay proper guidance and counseling program, no? Sa matag usa kay lahi-lahi man tag potentials. Sunod, It also underscores this concept on planning one's future, no? To plan one's future according to abilities, interests, and needs. We counselors help our students to make informed choices, no? Whether in education, career, or personal life. Now, remember, as future guidance counselors, no, RA 9258 is our professional anchor. It reminds us that helping others is both a privilege and a responsibility. Privilege because you will be earning, no, starting this school year, a registered guidance counselor will be earning a salary grade 16, no? Pinakadako is salary grade 22. Yeah, naanay salary grade 24 for a division level guidance director, no? Therefore, it's indeed a privilege. Dili na to kalimtan ang responsibilidad that must be exercised with competence and integrity. Now, to continue, we already know who we are. Now, we move to that very important question. Who really needs guidance and counseling? At first glance, you might think, anyone who lost, confused, or in crisis. And yes, that's true. But the reality is deeper. Guidance and counseling is about helping a confused person to see through oneself. Meaning, we help them start reflecting in their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors so that they can gradually see themselves clearly. Mauni ang atong starting point for change, no? When someone is confused or stressed or facing a difficult choice, they might not know where to begin. And as guidance counselors, we help them clarify thoughts and emotion. Meaning, sometimes, no, people feel overwhelmed and cannot sort out their feelings. Naglibog in taon sila. Also, we help them identify their strengths and set options for them to choose from. No, we guide them to recognize their abilities and resources. And lastly, to be able to facilitate them to take the first step toward change. No? Often, even a small shift in perspective can spark growth for these confused individuals. No? Remember, this is not about telling them what to do. No, it's not about helping them discover answers. No, it is about, again, helping them discover answers within themselves. Walang balikon, it is not about telling them what to do. Kay sumbalikan ta ana nila. Ingon ka sir, mao ni buhat to, no? As the saying goes, we don't give the fish to them. We teach them how to fish. Now, another important concepts as to who needs guidance and counseling. No? There are people who cannot recognize they need help. They may deny problems, no, feel shame, or simply not be aware of their struggles. This is why proactive guidance programs are important. We cannot wait for people to ask for help. We must create systems that reach out and identify those in need. When I was still in DepEd, no, I called them reluctant clients. Kanabitang dili nila ma-appreciate nga nung kinahanglan nilang ning buhato, no? Okay. Now, this brings us to the next point, no? The importance of crafting guidance program that is structured, accessible, and address personal, social, academic, and career needs, no? Another thing, guidance program they ensure that the help we provide is not random but systematic, intentional, and high quality. And that brings us to the next point. The importance of crafting guidance programs. Guidance programs provide structured, accessible service that address personal, social, academic, and career needs. They ensure that the help we provide is not random, but systematic, intentional, and high quality. In short, programs improve the quality of help. We reach more people, respond to real needs, and measure outcomes effectively. By understanding who needs guidance, we lay the foundation of effective program development, which we will discuss in the next slide. Now, karon atong hisgutan ang different guidance services that created or encapsulated the whole guidance program, no? These are core functions that will help us realize the need to help and actually provide help. Take note, this part will be heavily presented in your individual reporting later on. So it's important to understand not just the name of each service, but the purpose behind each service. Now, these 11 guidance services represent the full spectrum of guidance work. Remember, each service exists because people need help. And as a guidance professional, we are here to provide that help effectively. To continue, here in this point of our discussion, we will summarize the principles that define guidance and counseling as a profession. Guidance and counseling is more than just a service or a job. It is a commitment to support human growth and adjustment throughout life. Let me discuss some of these details. First, guidance and counseling is a lifelong and adjustment process. Meaning guidance is not just for students or people in crisis. It's an ongoing process that helps individuals adapt to change, challenges, and transitions in life. It is an integral part of the educational system because education is not only about learning subjects, but also about developing the whole person. Busa, as counselors, no, our role is continuous support, guiding people through learning, work, and life changes. Second, guidance and counseling is a response to a need. This is a positive and preventive, no, rather than curative, meaning we can help individuals before problems escalate, not just after difficulties occur. We provide specific help to specific concerns, whether it's personal, academic, social, or career-related. For example, kung ang estudyante naglisod o career choice, instead of waiting until failures or stress occurs, guidance help them explore options early and make informed decisions. And finally, guidance and counseling must be provided by qualified personnel. A counselor is not just a helper, but also a role model and professionally trained practitioner. This means that clients can trust us to guide them wisely based on professional knowledge, ethical standards, and personal integrity. Atong hinumduman, atong role as guidance professionals is both technical and moral. We must have the skills and character to guide others effectively. So to sum up, kini ang heart of guidance and counseling, helping people grow, adjust, and thrive in life. So as future counselors, always remember that your profession is not just a career. It's a lifelong commitment to service, empathy, and empowerment. And na lang sa, for this particular recording, we will have another recording to continue our slide presentation for some topics related to lesson lectures.